How do you feel about England? Do you feel you should have played more?
Yeah, definitely. But England was politics, man. England was crazy politics. I remember sitting in the room at Maiden Castle, Newcastle's training ground, and remember David Davis?
Yeah. Yes.
Sat in the room. Kevin's got the phone. He says, "Right, Coley, listen to this." And then David Davis was saying why Terry wasn't going to put me in the squad and whatever.
Which squad was this? Not 96, was it?
No, this was just a basic,
just
normal international game. Obviously, he doesn't train every day because I was struggling with shin splints then as well. Doesn't train every day.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I was still scoring goals in that and was saying, like, these are the reasons why we're not going to pick him. So, like, well, you're not going to pick him, but he's playing every game. He's scoring goals. That's when I went on that crazy run. He's scoring goals. He plays every Saturday. He might not train every day, but he's still scoring goals. Yeah, we know, but these are the reasons why. Oh, okay. I think from then I knew my England career was never going to be a starter. Had Glenn come out and said what he said. I thought, here we go, we're back to square one again. So I've had to put Glenn on blouse.
That was a killer, that one, it really.
Yeah, because
it was a hammer blow, really, to say that.
It was rude.
Yeah.
You know, it was disrespectful because I'm playing for Manchester United. Man United are playing Champions League football. And the teams we're playing in Champions League football are better than what England are playing qualifiers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm scoring in Champions League games. So I was like,
what was his exact quote, Coley? It was something like,
he needs how many
chances?
5 chances a game to score 1 goal. And I've always said, now, if I took them all,
I would have went.
didn't need penalties.
Huh?
I would have went crazy on that.
Is it that bad, lads? Is it?
Yeah,
I know it's not a good thing to say, but would you get that?
I think it's bad, that.
Oh, but if he comes and says it to you as
personally,
Of course. Listen, I'm not saying this is a thumbs up for what he said, but
people.
everyone, the strikers...
You know the thing with that as well, though, Roy? The thing with that as well.
No, I can see why he's upset, obviously, but when people start going, that's really bad... Like some managers go,
Roy, the thing with it
most strikers need a few chances. No striker scores at every chance.
He's not his player.
I get it.
And the second thing is, to be fair, you don't say that publicly about anybody.
I get it. I'm not
That's
saying...
not... Depending on the character of the...
It's like Glenn, but managers say stuff sometimes. Glenn,
that's a killer.
Yeah.
If his character's not that strong and you can't just blast through that because of where he was and who he is, that's a killer. That's the kind of thing you hear from somebody.
It's not good, I know.
Who's at a level where it's irresponsible. It's an irresponsible thing to say, I'd probably go as far as to say.
How did the England journey end? Was it your decision? Did you play 15 times? Yeah.
In the end, I just said myself, you know, he's getting farcical. I played against Azerbaijan, I think. Got a ticket, was spending for the next game. And I remember Sven saying to me, OK, I can't put you for the next squad because you're suspended. You've been after that. So I said, OK, not a problem. I'm still waiting for Sven to give me a call. So I just said to myself, what's the point of me hanging around, you know?
Yeah.
There's a younger generation coming through. So I said, you know, I'll tap out now.
Did you retire then, Cole?
Yeah. That's when I tapped out, yeah.
OK.
For me, there's no point. There's no point, like, trying to stay around to try and nick an England cap or what else.
How old were you then?
30.
Does it come a point for a player, do you think, where you feel like you have to prove yourself all the time? And that can creep into, especially at the international level, because generally you're doing well at your club level.
Yes. Yeah.
And then international managers, listen, Glenn would say that, managers going, you're in the next squad and then you're not. I think there is that. It does come to a point in your career where you go, I have to kind of
towards
keep
the
proving
end,
yourself all over again. Is there a
like,
bit of that? Yeah.
When I was still going with England, Gareth had just come in as manager, and obviously Harry had come through, and he was the main striker then. And I was there, and I was still captain, and I was like, I don't really feel like I should be here. So I pulled Gareth and said, listen, Mourinho come at Manchester United, I weren't playing every week. I just said, I don't think it's right that you're picking me in the squad. I said, obviously I want to play, but I'm not playing for my club, I don't think. It's right me being here.
And what age were you then when?
30, maybe.
It's still a hard thing to say to somebody that leave your best time to
but
leave you.
I always felt that if you're not playing for your club, you shouldn't be playing for your country. So I weren't playing, so I said, you pick me as captain. I said,
it's recognised as well. You've got to remember that the levels as well with Wayne.
Yeah, I get it.
With Wayne being in there, the discourse is always going to be like, how is he in the squad?
I know, but on one hand, we say players about wanting to play for their country. Listen, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. When a player's playing for his country, they played that many games to all of a sudden then to say, it's his decision to leave me out, you know.
He did pick me again, though, when I went back to Everton. And then I retired them. Didn't go back.
Cole, how did it end at United? Just Talk us through that experience,
yeah,
how it came.
Yeah,
to
it was kind of like the same time before I retired with England. And I said to myself, I know I should have gotten the squad, the World Cup squad that year. And I was just saying to myself, right, you need to go, just play as many games as possible, score as many goals as possible, then force yourself into the England squad. So I remember saying to the gaffer, look, gaffer, I want to play more games. And that's when we were playing that one up front.
Was that with Ruud and Scholesy off?
Yeah, or
When Seba came in?
Yeah. And
So how many games are you playing, though, Coley? Like, were you like proper not in?
So what we'll be doing, we play like, for instance, no disrespect, a Bolton on a Saturday or whatever you'll be playing, you can get yourself a brace or whatever. And you knew we got Real Madrid midweek in the Champions League.
Be out, right?
You're not going to play. And I'm like...
It was when you were trying to change the team from 4-4-2
Yes.
into sort of like Roy, Seba and Scholesy, wasn't it? Like a three...
And Ruud up front by himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I need to play games, I just kept saying to the manager, look, boss, I need to play games. He always kept saying to me, look, you'll play games. But I'm like, I'm 30. You know, I want to play as many games as I can, because don't forget that rule was like, oh, once you got to 30, your legs are gone. You remember that one?
Yeah.
And people are signing new contracts at 32 for another 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
You know, so I was in that position. I kept saying to the manager, I want to play games. I just need to move on to go and play games. And he kept saying to me, no. You can stay as long as you want. And then one day he just said to me, Coley, okay, I know your pride is everything for you. And I've always said to you, your pride will kill you. Yeah, which I know it will, you know. But what's the man without his pride? And I just said to myself, he just said, right, I'll let you go. I don't want to let you go, but I'll let you go. And that was it.
It's interesting because my recollection of my United career in terms of thinking about how we played, so it was up to that point where Ruud came, and then after Ruud left, and nothing to do with Ruud, but that change that we tried to make to suit Europe in that period of 3 or 4 years, I found to be the most difficult.
Yep.
I think we didn't win a league. We only won 1 league in 4 seasons. The style of play, the patterns of the partnership up front, hit strikers was gone completely. And then it actually came back with you, with Louis.
Yeah.
If you remember. So in 2006, this was 2002, that'll have been.
Yeah, that's right. That was World Cup.
4 years, I remember the patterns just being like completely obscure to me. You're overpassing, too much sort of like not getting it into forwards' feet, no sort of sharpness, no counter-attack that we always had. And then it came back when you started playing with Louis and we had the partnerships again, and then Tevez came in and we then went back to 2 up front. I wonder if you'd hung around for a couple of years, whether actually we'd have gone back to that, you know what I mean, with Ruud. Could you have played with Ruud? Because what was...
I could play with Ruud. Look, I love Ruud, and I'll be very honest. I think Ruud was an unbelievable goal scorer.
Yeah.
You know? But Ruud was very selfish to play with. Oh, he was hard work to play with, you know what I mean? Ruud was an individual. You'll make a run, and by the time you look around, Ruud's in exactly the same space. So you try to say to yourself, oh,
He loved that one, Ruud. He played out wide, purposely,
wide enough.
a bit wider so we can get in the box.
Yeah.
Get back in the box.
It's clever, though.
He knows the one.
It's
He
clever.
learns the best.
Clever.
You know?
Push a bit wide, just square up for me.
Yeah, and he was like that. And people said, oh, you should have held about Coley. But I was like, oh, man, oh, God. Pride's terrible.
Where's the pride come from, Coley?
That's where I've been brought up. I mean, I think my parents have both come from the Caribbean. They came from the Caribbean with nothing. Yeah, and that's all they've ever tried to instill in their kids, to have pride in yourself. I mean, so
Yeah, but you can
what
change.
do I know?
You can change now. Don't You're stuck in your ways forever. Look at me. Yeah, it is. I'll have a chat with you later.
I'll help you.
Here's a man to get you right on that front.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
But when I come in, I always thought there was a pressure of, because obviously the last big thing he's done was win the treble in '99, and the club hadn't won the league for a few years. So coming in, I always thought there was a pressure of how do we emulate what, as a striker, what you and Yorkie done. That was always what I looked at, and with Ruud, that was difficult to have that. As you're saying there, it was difficult to have that partnership.
Yeah.
With Ruud, but that was always a pressure I felt, and then obviously a bit after that we go on to the pre-season tours, and yourself or Yorkie might be there, and we're wanting to like naturally we want to leave our legacy, and we want people to say, oh, these are better than what Yorkie was. So I always found that was
It can't be easy when
big pressure.
Paulie, you'll said, we talk about position. I know we've had discussions about the toughest position at United. Goalkeepers, listen, huge. You need big personalities, a spine in your team, blah, blah, blah. But that goal scorer, that striker. You look at all the great players, yourselves included, Cantona, Mark Hughes, the great goal scorers. Ruud scored big goals. You need them lads. You need them lads top end of the pitch. If you haven't got that real top world-class strikers, particularly at Man United, It's hard going.
Do you think that's what's missing a little bit now when you say about like looking at the legacy of the club? And do you think that's
absolutely.
a little bit what it is? Like coming in, do they want to emulate what went before?
Well, you'd hope so.
or
You'd
is
hope
it
they'd
like-
embrace that, Jill. The whole idea, I know we're talking about where Man United are now, it's chalk and cheese to back in the day. You hope you embrace that pressure. Like the lads did when you come to a club. To be a goal scorer at Man United is not easy. Yeah, people say you're going to get chances.
Yep.
You have to, and again, missing chances, have that bit of bravery, that courage. But that's the difference now with players. But again, I hope you'd enjoy that pressure. Like you look at Man
That's what you're
United,
going to a
you
club
can enjoy
for.
it.
You're going to that club,
Enjoy
you're
it.
getting that.
Wes has touched on it as well. I think for me personally, you know, obviously when your time comes to an end, and obviously people like Wes are coming in the team, and to go away on tour and to have that conversation, that interaction
cool.
with them, you know, for them to actually want to come out and do it. It's like when I first moved to Man United, obviously Sir Bobby and people like that, kid, you can have that convo, you want to take it all in. That's changed now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them will look at you as if to say,
When we were there, like yourself, the more senior lads then would push you and they keep you on your toes. Where when you's left, then we do that to the younger players. Now there's no one.
Well, you know, the younger players at Man United, I worry about, lads, you're a bit younger than me, that do they understand, do they embrace the history of the club? You were around the place, lads who go on the tours, Dennis, Pally, Robbo. Did they be looking at these lads and go, yeah, you're on about Sir Bobby Charlton when we were there, Robbo coming towards the end, when I was there, but you're going, yeah, listen, I'm all ears here, I'm all ears.
all day long.
But no, younger players, maybe, I'm not knocking all of them, maybe they're not lovers of the game that much. They're playing and they're good players, but they don't look back at ex-players and go, yeah, listen, I'll give me all the information, I'd love that.
Maybe there's something that Man United have to look at as part of the restructure.
Did you have at Arsenal? Did you have at Arsenal? Was any lads around the place, ex-players? No?
Yeah, Frank McClintock and Charlie George and all those guys are still around there.
You'd have a chat with them, wouldn't you? Say hello, you'd show them respect,
yeah, you could
of course.
do. And I think that when you look at where Man United are now, it wouldn't be something that they should not look at because the players, because whatever we say about Man United, you have to understand the history of the club, what they've done, what they've achieved. And when you come into the club, just like I'm sure it would be with Liverpool, you have to understand the history of what's going on so you can understand the levels.
Because ultimately, that's why you want to be joining a club like Man United.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the levels. You're going to the place.
I was growing up in the 90s watching Man United, like, in awe of what I was seeing.
Yeah.
And obviously being an Everton fan, we weren't really going to win anything. So my best way of having a go with Liverpool fans was Man United winning.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching, and then the minute I knew Man United were interested in signing me, I was like, that's the only place I'm going.
But Everton, Wayne, was there not ex-players at Everton who obviously were brilliant in the 80s? And were them players around the place?
So my youth team manager was Colin Harvey.
Right.
So obviously...
But was that great to plug into all these boys,
Yeah.
I'm going into training, got Colin Harvey.
Yeah, brilliant.
Al Napa was there. So we had a lot of the players. Peter Reid was always around.
Kevin Sheedy was a coach for a while, wasn't he?
Sheedy was there for a while,
yeah.
You have all them ex-players there, and it's so important and
so
the history.
Important. I think like when we played for England, like if you had the number 10 shirt, it's like I've got Kelly Smith's shirt, like I need to do it proud. And when we won, it's like it's for everybody that's gone before. Like it should be a journey. There shouldn't be any gaps in it. So I think it's so important.
You get invited back to England. Do you go into the women's camp? Do you dip
yeah,
into that a little bit? Yeah,
all the time. Everybody's still.
And you love it. You love
Farrell
going in and
Williams
helping any of the young players. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like one big family, really, and it should be. I think
But the thing
it should
with
be.
Mikel, the training ground is open to any of the ex-pros. You can just go. You could just literally.
Is that right?
Go in.
Just turn up.
You could just turn up, and you know what I mean. Obviously, they know you're there. Bam! You go in there. You can have lunch. You can watch from the side. Everybody can come into that.
I've heard about Ajax. Maybe apparently their academy when they're having 11v11s, the underage kids, they get 2 or 3 of the ex-players back. Just for example, they get a striker back, a midfielder, and a centre half, whatever. And you just watch the player in that position. So you're just an ex-player having a day back at the club.
Yeah.
You must go down to the training ground. And you just watch the midfielder, and after 20 minutes, they might stop a game. And I'll just give feedback to the midfielder. I'll forget the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So imagine that snippets of information.
Unbelievable.
I could give a midfielder, or you could give a striker, whoever it might be. Should clubs maybe do that a bit more? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Maybe some do.
Valuable, isn't it?
Maybe some do.
Well,
Enough players out
I'm
there.
at United training ground most days now, obviously with my kids, and I don't go in that building.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that when I go in.
But would you want to, or would you be invited, or would you be
To be
awkward?
fair, the new owners who've come in have obviously said come in anytime you want, but I just don't feel.
But the odd time,
For me,
would you
it's
not-
got to be a manager's.
But imagine your chat. Yeah, the manager. I'm just saying. But imagine you having a chat with a current United striker. Just, I don't mean a big debrief with just a 20-minute chat. And I watched the game the weekend. I just thought you were a bit isolated, or you were going. I imagine him going, yeah, that's better than any coaching lesson.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I was going to ask actually Coley about Rasmus Højlund, who's come in this season. He's obviously the only one striker in the club. He's still young. He's 21 years of age. He's, to be fair, alone up there on his own. Just talk to us a little bit about him in terms of one, maybe advice in a more sort of a guardian way, really, because obviously he's not the problem at Manchester United at this moment in time, but he's been asked to do a big job, which is, I think that playing for Manchester United in goal is the hardest job in football. But I think playing as a striker in that club is one of the
Goalkeeper. Yeah, if
You're not having that, Wayne?
No.
Anyway, no, don't. Let's not argue. We'll argue on that another week. So talk about Rasmus Højlund in terms of how he's done and what you think, maybe a little bit of advice how he can improve, because you improve your game so much from joining United to obviously the point where you left.
I think, especially watching him again on Saturday, because the game's changed so much, he has an obsession in wanting to fight the centre half. Not need to. Not in the modern day game. You know, back in the days when you got Sparky, yeah, that's totally different. You know, but now he has this big obsession, like, I've got to fight him, I've got to know where he is, I've got to have a little tussle with him, and then we can go from there. He's fighting and tussling so much, he doesn't get hold of the ball. You know, just play freely. Get hold of the ball.
So what comes to the side of a defender?
Yeah,
or?
because in the way the game's played now, yeah, you can do that all day long because you nick a foul. You know, so when you're hustling, fighting, whatever, what centre forward do you see play like that now in the Premier League?
Is he getting good service, do you think?
That's
Is he
exactly-
getting
I
the
was
service
gonna
is
say-
key,
I was gonna
surely?
say-
What the service he gets. 'Cause
So the service is poor, but you know what makes it even harder as well? You've already touched on it. When you play one up front, if the service is not bang on, as a centre forward, what do you do? So yeah, he's chasing a lot of lost causes because the service is not very good, you know. But then for me personally, you got to get yourself in a good position to whereby, right, I can actually get hold of the ball. I'm one up front. Naturally, I can't make the run down the channel every time because it's only me, and I just kill myself after 20 minutes. So as a fullback, you got to start demanding the ball where you want it, not where he wants to put it, because he's under pressure. Because the fullback should never be under pressure, to whereby he can't deliver you a good ball.
I think it's one up front as well, but Man United very rarely cross the ball now.
Yeah.
So
the wide players
for the number 9, if you're up front on your own, the chances you get is making them little time runs to get across someone.
You know what else is-
Now it's not coming in the box. And
Especially the wide players.
Because there's not enough players in the box.
City cross the ball more than
You don't
anyone.
know what they're going to do. And the same thing as well, is when you look at, you know, when you're playing a game, and let's say you haven't scored for a couple of games as well, and then you're playing in a team like the United side, what I watch now, even when he shows, he doesn't get, you know, when you try to get a couple of touches just to build yourself into the game, nothing. Like you mentioned there, they don't cross the ball into the box. You see him making moves. Someone like Garnacho, who is somebody, he's not even looking. He's looking to shoot all the time. You're not seeing a lot of people trying to bounce off of him and stuff. And you think to yourself, you see him do stuff. You see him try to, and you think, okay, if they recognise that might have been a good move for him. But I think his confidence is getting worse in respects of not getting it, not getting the chances. So then when it does come, he's anxious. You saw him the other day, he got a brilliant chance. He
I love his slip.
Unfortunately, he slipped. And you know what, I feel really sorry for him because he does not get enough supply.
And that's why, you know, when he does, just enjoy it. You know, because no one can lump it on him and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy it. You get on the ball, you know, enjoy the ball.
Do you know when you speak about the crossing of the ball, when you played, like, did you know kind of where the cross was going to come? Because it's a taught thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not just whacking the ball in the
you see
box.
someone like Beckham. I don't
And
have to tell
Giggsy.
you.
Hey, Beck's in Giggsy.
100%.
These people are not looking to twist and turn, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I knew it with Bex, I'd drop my shoulder, make a run, I know straight away.
It's coming, bro.
Giggsy, I know I could open myself up and he looked to fade it straight into it. So I already knew, you know, byline, crosses from deeper with Bex and that. And that's what made mine and Yorkie's or Teddy Nolly's job a lot easier because you're no guaranteed when the ball's coming in.
You know what's good about that as well, though, Roy?
Oh, yeah. Skip
you know what's good about that as well is that being able to be a striker, like we're talking about Højlund, being able to be a striker knowing that, you know what I mean, it might not be going well for me, but if I make the right move in the box, that ball's coming in. And these 2-3 times in the half, he doesn't have that.
Rafael Varane's just announced that he's leaving Manchester United today. It's a strange time, it feels like, for him to announce it.
Yeah, but it was under his contract was up, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's just a strange time with a couple of weeks to go in the season.
Are they trying to give him a bit of respect by announcing it now, maybe? And
But is he going to be fit for the cup final as well, though? Yeah.
I don't know.